I'd like to call to order the Committee of the Whole for the City Council of Highland Park, Illinois, May 27th, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Center.
Present.
Councilmember Bruckman. Here. Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Councilmember Tapia.
Present.
Councilmember Littlewer. Councilmember Bloomberg.
Here.
Mayor Rotering.
Here, we have a quorum. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the special meeting held May 16th, 2025?
So moved.
As amended.
As amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And those minutes are approved. Thank you. Tonight, we are honored to celebrate what is called the chain of survival, the incredible people who work together to save a life. Welcome. We are pleased to welcome Mr. August Swanenberg and his family, Julie Browning, Irene Swanenberg, Becca Swadek, Audrey Epps-Schmidt, and Dietrich Epps-Schmidt to tonight's meeting as we honor the life-saving actions of Officer Ginger Stokes, Dr. Michael Zarkowski, Officer Rob Wagner, firefighter EMTs Kevin Best, Andrew Beverly, Trevor Mount, and Nick Traskey, and Dr. Benjamin Feinsheimer. We'll begin by reading the proclamation in their honor. Whereas on Tuesday morning, March 11th, 2025, at approximately 8:50 a.m., I beg your pardon, Police Officer Ginger Stokes observed a car on County Line Road surrounded by several people looking inside. She pulled over to investigate. Hearing someone say there was an unconscious man at the wheel, Officer Stokes grabbed the portable AED from her squad car and rushed to assist. And whereas Officer Stokes communicated circumstances to dispatch for emergency medical support. Meanwhile, Officer Stokes and one of the bystanders, Dr. Michael Zarkowski, DDS, pulled the unconscious man from the vehicle and set him on the pavement. Officer Stokes affixed the AED pads to the man's torso. The AED assessed that a shock was indeed needed. After the shock was administered, the AED advised CPR. Officer Stokes immediately began chest compressions. And whereas Police Officer Rob Wagner, 4 Highland Park firefighter EMTs arrived, Kevin Best, Andrew Beverly, Trevor Mount, and Nick Traskey. Dr. Benjamin Feinsheimer, DO, also arrived in Endeavor Health's physician response vehicle. Together, the paramedics and Dr. Feinsheimer were able to provide advanced medical care at the scene. And whereas the patient began to breathe again, and was promptly transported to Highland Park Hospital's emergency room. The patient was fortunate and recovered from this cardiac event. Whereas every moment counts and swift response is critical when a person experiences a serious cardiac event. Thanks to the swift actions of Officer Ginger Stokes, Dr. Michael Zarkowski, Officer Rob Wagner, firefighter EMTs Kevin Best, Andrew Beverly, Trevor Mount, Nick Traskey, and Dr. Benjamin Feinsheimer, this incident had a positive outcome. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Rotering, Mayor of the City of Highland Park and the City Council of the City of Highland Park, do hereby proclaim prompt actions save lives and urge all residents to extend appreciation to the people who responded in this incident for their vital services performed and their exemplary dedication to our community. I also encourage residents to become CPR AED trained and certified so that you too may know how to respond in a similar situation. We are truly fortunate to have such outstanding individuals serving our community. Thank you all for your professionalism and for your care. And now with that, I'm going to ask us all to stand and applaud. Before we continue with formal commendations for Officer Stokes and Dr. Zarkowski, I'd like to invite Mr. Swanenberg to the podium to share his story. Welcome.
Thank you. I want to first thank the City of Highland Park for having this wonderful commendation event. It's very special to honor Ginger Stokes. I am happy to be here, and let me explain why. Exactly 11 weeks ago, On a Tuesday morning in March, I nearly lost my life when I suffered sudden cardiac arrest while driving. As we say in the Netherlands, the country where I grew up, ik ben een geluksvogel. I am one lucky bird. So this lucky bird and my family here say, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you all. I am alive today because of the superb skills and dedication of the many people who came to my aid that day. I am so grateful to all of them. The Highland Park Police, especially Officer Ginger Stokes, and Good Samaritans such as Dr. Jakowski, both of whom are being honored today. The Highland Park Fire EMT team, who helped keep me alive on the way to Highland Park Hospital. And the doctors and nurses at Highland Park Hospital's emergency room and intensive care unit, especially Dr. Ben Feinzimmer, who rode with me in Highland Park's EMT ambulance to Highland Park Hospital's emergency room, and he provided critical medical care to me along with the EMTs in the ambulance. Also, a huge shout out to Highland Park for its police patrol vehicles carrying AED units. AED is short for Automated External Defibrillator. Officer Stokes' skillful and immediate use of AED on me played a huge role in saving my life. More on that in just a moment. People have asked me, what do you remember? I remember absolutely nothing of my medical emergency that morning, nor of the heroic actions of the many people who together saved my life. The last thing I remember is walking alone at the Chicago Botanic Garden on my usual daily walk and then getting into my SUV, driving out of the garden's parking lot onto Lake Cook Road. That's it. I have no memory of anything that morning after I turned onto Lake Cook Road. The rest of the story boggles my mind and takes my breath away, no pun intended. Apparently, a few seconds after I turned onto Lake Cook Road, I suffered cardiac arrest. While I was unconscious, my SUV drifted across 3 lanes of traffic without hitting anyone or anything. I'm so grateful for that too. My SUV came to a gentle stop against the curb on County Line Road in Lake County, facing oncoming traffic. My SUV had drifted from Lake Cook Road in Cook County to County Line Road in Lake County, from Glamco to Highland Park. And that's where I am today. During cardiac arrest, every minute counts, especially if the cardiac arrest happens in the field, meaning not in a hospital setting. I was very much in the field, alone and unconscious in my SUV, facing oncoming traffic on a major road. And that's when all my guardian angels moved into high gear. Again, I'm so very grateful to each of you. I need to emphasize that I would not be standing here today without Officer Stokes pulling her AED unit from behind her patrol vehicle's driver's seat and shocking my heart back to life. As I lay unconscious and with no pulse on the pavement of a major road, and my heart came back to life. When our daughter Irene, who is a doctor, heard that I had been shocked with an AED and got my pulse back in the field, she could hardly believe it. Irene just keeps saying, this never happens like this. And yet I'm standing here to show, yes, it really did. And the AED made all the difference. And so did Officer Stokes suddenly appearing in her patrol vehicle at that very moment when my car had stopped with an AED stowed right behind her driver's seat. Officer Stokes later told me she had driven over that way to see if any daffodils were blooming outside the Chicago Botanic Garden. Turns out no daffodils were blooming yet on that cold morning in March, but I am mighty grateful that Officer Stokes was wondering about daffodils. As I said before, ik ben een geluksvogel, lucky bird indeed. Officer Stokes and Officer Rob Wagner are true ambassadors for Highland Park. After I was safely loaded into the ambulance, they drove to my house. Once there, Officer Stokes gently but clearly conveyed to my wife Julie what had just happened to me. Officer Wagner drove Julie to Highland Park Hospital, And Officer Stokes and Wagner stayed with Julie in the ER waiting room during that first anxious hour. Thank you both for taking such good care of Julie in her hour of need. Highland Park Hospital's care has been phenomenal, both in March and during my ongoing cardiac rehab recovery. After 2 days of superb care at Highland Park Hospital, I was transferred to Glenbrook Hospital, where I also received great care. At Glenbrook, I was fitted with an internal pacemaker defib device. Our family calls my heart device Little Ginger, in honor of Officer Ginger Stokes, of course. I left Glenbrook Hospital just 4 days after my cardiac arrest. I'm now halfway through Highland Park Hospital's cardiac rehab program with a great team of specialists. Only 10% of people who suffer cardiac arrest in the field survive to leave the hospital. Of those, only about 10% retain full physical and mental capacity. This is the so-called 1% club. I'm now part of that 1% club. Some friends have told me, you should play the lottery. And I reply, I already did, and I won. I finished up now by especially thanking Julie for her loving support both at home and as my driver for a few more months, although that's really hard. And loving thanks to our two daughters, Irene and Audrey, who both flew here from the East Coast on that first day. Irene did double duty as our daughter and as a doctor, helped us understand all the complicated medical stuff. Audrey got us organized on a home front with medical appointment calendars and in-home safety equipment and such. And huge thanks to Irene's and Audrey's spouses, Becca and Dietrich, for keeping things rolling at their own homes while Irene and Audrey tended to the parentals in Chicagoland. As Irene and Audrey have instructed these days, I'm trying very hard to stay boring. Again, a sincere thank to all of you who made it possible for me to be here today, alive and alert. Highland Park will always have a special place in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Swanenberg, which I know mean the world to our team. On behalf of our city council, we wish you a smooth recovery and many, many years of good memories with your beautiful family. So, to good life. Absolutely. At this time, I'd like to invite our police chief, Lou Jogman, to present the formal commendations.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Lou Jogman. I'm the chief of police, and I am honored and just thrilled to be able to be here tonight with everybody and to be able to present some recognition for what really was some incredible, incredible work. When you hear about this, it sounds like maybe a button was pushed, a life was saved, and we're all moving on, but that is absolutely not the case. This was an incredible, incredible effort by every level, every person that was involved. If you take any one of those people out of this chain, we might not be standing here today having this wonderful celebration of life. Each person played an incredible role, starting with Officer Stokes, Dr. Sharkowski. Hold on, gotta get the name right. I got it right, Dr. Sharkowski. All right, Sharkowski, fantastic. Our fabulous fire department came and did the amazing work that they did. Dr. Feinberg, amazing job with the program that you've got to be out there in the field, just truly playing a pivotal role. And clearly the exceptional care at the hospitals, both hospitals. All of that, I can't understate just how incredible that work is, and we have a phenomenal result today. So I'm thrilled to be here today to present some well-deserved recognition to two people who played a role in that. You're going to get to hear a couple of times. It'll be a little repetitive, but it is a story worth telling, so bear with me. So the first award tonight that I'm pleased to present is a life-saving award from the Highland Park Police Department to our own Officer Ginger Stokes. On Tuesday, March 11th, 2025, at approximately 8:50 a.m., Officer Stokes was traveling westbound in the 700 block of County Line Road in a marked Highland Park police vehicle. She observed three vehicles in the westbound lane, one of which was facing the wrong direction. Officer Stokes stopped to investigate and was immediately alerted by a passerby that an unresponsive man was slumped over the steering wheel in the car. She immediately tendered to the unresponsive driver, later identified as August Swanberg. It was quickly apparent that Mr. Swanberg was experiencing a serious medical emergency. With assistance from retired dentist Dr. Shakowski, Officer Stokes extricated Mr. Swanberg from the vehicle and assessed his vital signs, determining he was not breathing and had no pulse. Officer Stokes then retrieved the automated external defibrillator from the squad car's medical bag. Officer Stokes quickly removed Mr. Swanberg's shirt, applied the AED pads, and activated the device. The AED conducted an analysis, confirming the presence of life-threatening heart rhythm and advised a shock. Officer Stokes administered one shock and immediately resumed CPR. Mr. Swanberg regained a pulse and began breathing again. The Highland Park Fire Department arrived on scene, assumed responsibility for his care, and subsequently transported him to the Highland Park Hospital. Recognizing the situation's urgency, Officer Stokes ran the license plate of the vehicle through our computer system and located the registered owner. Officer Stokes and Wagner responded to Mr. Swanberg's residence in Northbrook to attempt to contact a family member. Upon arrival at the residence, they met with Mr. Swanberg's wife, Julie Browning, who confirmed that her husband, August, had been driving the vehicle. Julie shared that her husband had gone for a walk at the Botanic Gardens. Officer Stokes reassured her that her husband was breathing when he was transported to the hospital. Julie did not have access to a vehicle, so Officer Wagner provided a ride to the Highland Park Hospital. Later that day, at approximately 4:45 p.m., Officer Stokes and Wagner visited the hospital where they learned from Dr. Poles in the ICU that Mr. Swanberg was breathing independently. They met with Julie, who reported that her husband was responsive and could speak when asked about their daughters. Mr. Swanberg was transferred to Glenbrook Hospital, and on March 14, 2025, Officer Stokes and Officer Wagner went to visit him. They found him in good spirits. He was conversing with his family and was preparing for discharge that day. Officer Ginger Stokes' swift action, professionalism, and compassion during this critical situation not only saved a life, but also comforted Mr. Swanberg's family during a distressing time. Her dedication to her duties exemplified the spirit of service and commitment to this community. Officer Stokes' actions directly align with the department's 10 shared principles of law enforcement. Specifically, we value the life of every person and consider life to be of the highest value, and all persons should be treated with dignity and respect. Through her decisive action, courage, and unwavering commitment to preserving life, Officer Stokes exemplified the highest standards of law enforcement. Congratulations, Ginger. All right, we've got one more. On Tuesday, it's going to be repetitive, but again, it's a great story, everybody, so you can't hear it enough. On Tuesday, March 11th, 2025, at approximately 8:50 a.m., Dr. Shakowski was traveling in his personal vehicle along the 700 block of County Line Road when he observed a silver Subaru stopped in the westbound lane facing the wrong direction. We've heard that before. Noticing something amiss, he pulled over to investigate. Inside the vehicle, he found an unresponsive male slumped over the steering wheel. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Dr. Shakowski immediately assessed the individual and identified a critical medical emergency. At that moment, Officer Ginger Stokes happened upon the scene, and Dr. Shakowski quickly flagged her down and briefed her. Working together, they removed the motorist from the vehicle and checked his vital signs. He was not breathing and had no detectable pulse. Dr. Shakowski assisted Officer Stokes in deploying the automated external defibrillator, and after applying the AED pads and activating the device, it advised a shock, and Officer Stokes delivered one shock and resumed CPR immediately. Dr. Shakowski also used a can of oxygen to support the motorist's respiration. Saw that on the body cam. That was pretty interesting. Within moments, the motorist regained a pulse and began breathing. The Highland Park Fire Department arrived shortly thereafter, took over care, and transported the motorist to the Highland Park Hospital for further treatment and eventual recovery. Dr. Schakowsky, your swift and skillful response, combined with your medical expertise and calm demeanor under pressure, were instrumental in saving a life. Your actions reflect the highest ideals of community service, professionalism, and compassion for others. It is with great honor that we present to you today the Citizens Life Saving Award. So again, just want to congratulate you all and just wish you the best recovery. I know you're still working through that. And as a testament to Dr. Schakowsky, Ginger just told me, he wanted no recognition. He tried to get out of there without giving his name. He just really, here's a person who took it upon himself to help another person in distress. And we need more of that in today's world. And so really, really just grateful to you and grateful to you for everything. So thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Another fan coming to give Officer Ginger a hug. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Endeavor Health Highland Park Hospital President Nikki Fernandez to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I'd like to thank you for letting me say a few words about this extraordinary event. I'm so honored to be standing here with such amazing individuals who provided exceptional expert care to this wonderful gentleman and his loving family. Growing up, my parents always taught me things happen for a reason. As I get older, I truly believe that in so many aspects of life, and often find myself telling my own boys that. When I heard the story of what happened to you, driving one way and ended up turning the car around another way, it led you directly to us. And again, it made me realize how things happen for a reason. We heard about the wonderful people who stopped and started life-saving measures, and we thank all of you for that. We also know that Dr. Ben Feinsheimer arrived on the scene in our physician response vehicle as well and continued to perform life-saving measures. His quick thinking, dedication, and teamwork made the difference in a critical situation, and it's truly commendable. Your actions not only showcased your professionalism, but also demonstrated the profound impact we can have on others' lives. I would also like to thank Dr. Haig and the Highland Park Emergency Department and Intensive Care Unit for continuing the heroic efforts for you and your family. I cannot thank you all enough for your unwavering commitment and for being an exemplary team. I hope that we continue to partner, support, and uplift one another to care for the communities in which we serve. Thank you.
Thank you, President Fernandez. We're so grateful for our continued partnership with Endeavor Health Highland Park Hospital. This program is a vital component of our emergency response, and we look forward to many years of collaboration. Before we continue our business this evening, I'd like to thank everybody who has joined us to celebrate Mr. Swanenberg's recovery, continued good health and strength, and the life-saving efforts of each person we've recognized tonight, especially Officer Stokes and Dr. Zurkowski. We'd also like to thank City Manager Gita Newkirk, Chief of Police Lou Jogman, and our Fire Chief Joe Schragi for their leadership. I can say that forevermore, when I see daffodils, I will now be reminded of the special people who took action and saved a life. So you're always in our hearts as well. And Gita's motioning at me that she would like a picture taken of the group. We'll be back here and everybody else come forward and we'll take a photo and then we'll resume our meeting. Thank you again for your special efforts. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So glad.
Thanks for being here. So glad you're okay.
At this time, I'm seeking a motion to recess so we can move the balance of our meeting to our pre-session conference room.
Move to recess.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Thank you.
Councilmember Center.
Here.
Councilmember Brockman. Here. Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Councilmember Tapia.
Present.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
Here.
Mayor Rotary.
Here, still have a quorum, thanks. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 28th for closed and open committee of the whole?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to talk about the proposed lead service line replacement policy revision. Thank you, Director Bannon.
Thank you, Mayor. So, just a little background on lead services. So what we are talking about is the water main there, and we have two sides of the service line, the public and the private side. So this policy addresses both aspects, but really what we're looking at is the private side, the customer-owned side on their property. There is a compliance timeline. The city, this has been in place since 2021. The city is ahead of this timeline. Each year, we are required to submit an inventory of our lead services. So as we change them, or as things change through verification, the IPA gets an update every year. The last one was April 15th, 2025. We are required to begin our replacement of lead service lines by 2027. So again, ahead of that curve, we have council approved the intent to award, which is the step for the contractor to get started. That goes back to the IPA for review. So that's where we're at now. It's with the IPA. Once that is received back, then we can kick off our program. But we anticipate that will start later this year. Once it begins, we think 1 to 2 years, once we meet with the contractor, we'll have a better idea on that. But the formal program will begin. We have approximately 1,800 service lines that are lead or galvanized in the city, which puts us in that, it's hard to read there, but we have to do 6% each year beginning in 2027, which is about 108 service lines per year. We will be ahead of that curve for sure. So the funding that we have now for our 2025 program is specific. So it's through the IAPA State Revolving Fund loan, and it's a competitive process. They score our application and distribute the funding depending on that score. So with the city,
Just with all the background, can you just make sure you're closer to that microphone right on the podium?
absolutely, sure.
I can't.
Perfect, thanks.
So it's important to note that our program that will begin in 25 is specific to 2 census tracts. It's 8656 and 8657. If that means, if people are familiar with census tracts, but it's basically that box there that we are working within that area. So the funding that we have is required to be spent in that area. We have up to a $10 million loan. We don't anticipate that we will spend that much. We have about 667 lead service lines within that area. So outside of this area is outside of the city's program at this time. So our policy addresses both services, the current policy, services that are within our program, and the city developed a cost share that's been very well received. We had 3 public meetings, and the public has been seemingly very happy with that. In fact, they're anxious to get started. It's a $5,000 cost share for the private side portion. The city handles it. It's through our contract. We have economies of scale. We have control over that project and the costs. We also address services that are outside of the city's scheduled improvements, either through the lead service line replacement or through like a water main project where we're going to do a full water main replacement, change the services at that time. The current policy basically says that if you're outside of the cities of those two circumstances, that you're on your own for the replacement, 100% homeowner, property owner cost. So based on feedback from the public, people have had situations such as a leak or a slow leak on their lead service line. You're not allowed to repair lead services anymore. For years and years, we repaired lead all the time. Now the rule is if it's damaged, it needs to come out right now. So we've gotten calls saying, well, what about me? I'm not in the program. We haven't even started the program officially yet here, the cities. So how do I do this, and can the city help me at all? And so what we did then is looked at the language and developed a revised cost share for people that are outside of those circumstances, either emergency repairs or perhaps a remodel where they have to go now and do a new tap and do their portion then. So we put stipulations in where they're responsible for the entire portion of the work. They have to get permits, they have to get a licensed contractor, they have to relocate the meter pit, which we've been doing as part of our own program. They have to get that part done as well. And they have to have all inspections, working with Joel and his team to get the plumbing inspections done. Once all that is complete, then they could submit for reimbursement up to $5,000 or 20% of the improvement cost. So depending, because every service line is different, long runs, short runs, there is a kind of a variable there. So we have the 20% cost, so if it's, 10 or 12 grand, they get reimbursed. If it was up to $25,000 to do all the work, they would get reimbursed the maximum $5,000. In this scenario, the city is not responsible for any restoration of any kind. It's strictly going to be once the plumbing inspector reviews it, just like we handle any other private work, but they can apply for this funding. This is similar to what we do with our sewer line cost share and similar to what we had for our lead service line cost share prior to this current policy and prior to the rules changing with the IPA. And that's
it. Thanks. Andres? And then you?
It's more of curiosity, not a challenge, but I'm just curious, how did you determine the census tracts? Because, a city's bigger than that. Why though that?
So there was a series, we've applied for funding to the IPA 2 different times. The first time we applied, we used citywide. We were not awarded, we did get approved for a loan, but it was at a low interest rate over 20 years. We did not recommend that we accept that loan. We thought there was a better way to do it. So understanding how the scoring works, the IPA then allowed for us to do it by certain areas of town. Because typically, lower income communities will get that funding first, and they may get it 0%. They don't have to pay it back at all. We will never qualify for that, but what we did do is take census tracts that were to the most, advantage for that funding, and so specific to those areas, we qualified for that up to 10 million, 30-year, 0% interest.
Okay. And then what opportunities are there for the parts that are not in the census tract?
So we are going to apply again each year. There's a funding cycle, and we were going to apply again for the remainder of the town. And we hope to see what we get, but we don't know if it'll be to this extent. And with some of the federal money that funnels into the IPA, we'll see how that looks as well. But the plan is to apply again.
I just want to follow up.
Sure.
If we don't get the grant, we still continue the program with our own funding, or
That's our decision that we need to make. Obviously, all of these lead lines need to come out by 2027 under the law. So it's up to us in terms of the support that we want to give to our residents. We went through this once before when there was an issue with sanitary lines and trying to line them because we had infiltration by stormwater that was backing up. And so the question again will be, is this something that the city council feels we should be funding? I know where my thoughts are. And so, I don't think anybody's unrealistically holding their breath and thinking, oh, sure, this money's going to be there again and again and again, at least for the next couple of years. So we need to obviously be prepared for when we do need to continue this program, where those funds going to come from.
We do have funds in our budget for multiple years as part of this program because it is required that we address these lead service lines.
Right. But in terms of the cost share
Yeah.
piece of it, that's an extra piece that we're going to have to fund.
Okay.
Uni?
Thank you. In the packet, it said that on the owner's side, they were responsible for the work and they could opt out.
Yes.
And so my question, and don't know anything about the legalities of it, if they do opt out, the next person who owns the house, what is their responsibility? Like,
It's
how
their
does that work?
choice. It's their choice.
It's their choice as well, so they can opt out as well.
It is. The IPA, the way the statute reads, is that it's the city's responsibility to follow up with the new homeowner at that time. So if the current homeowner, they are required to sign a waiver saying, I understand that I can have my lead service line replaced, and I'm saying, no, I don't want you in my house, I'm not doing it. The city then has to follow up with the new owner and present that same option or whatever option we have at that time. Yeah.
Marissa?
Just a question about this first group. How are people able to figure out if they're part of this first group? Is there a website, or, because I had some people that reached out to me, like they went to one of the meetings, but they weren't sure if they were part of it, and so I just wanted to get more clarification on how that you would find that out.
Yes, so we do have a website, and so we sent out letters specific to this area. So we did 3 public meetings in those letters to avoid some of the confusion, because there are lead services outside of these areas, so we sent them specifically to those addresses. And you can go online to the website, our website, and go to lead or getthelEdOut.com, /Illinois or /HP. But it is on our website. And then you can see specific to the house, to your house, to see if you're shown in that
Okay,
area.
so if you received a letter, because I know, for example, my friend that had reached out, they received a letter, but then when they went, I think they did try to check somewhere, they didn't see
Okay.
the address. So I just wanted to make sure it was still whatever it was
Yeah,
up to
if they
date
received a
or-
letter, then they should be eligible. I mean,
Okay.
we pulled those addresses straight from the
Just for-
census
okay.
tracts, yes, so that,
Okay.
yes. And yes, given, even if you're not in this first wave,
first,
the city will be reapplying and continuing to remove service lines. You know, as the mayor said, we have to see what the funding looks like. It's likely that funding will be there, but just maybe not at the 0% interest that we're getting right now.
Okay.
I was just laughing at get the lead out.
Yeah. Any other questions? Nope, okay.
So with everyone's support, we'll just go ahead and update the policy, and then we'll continue to update the website, and I'll send it to all of you just so you have it.
Great, thank you. I did not see closed session anywhere. Do we have?
There's nothing.
Okay.
Nothing in closed session.
No
I
closed
looked
session
three
for
different
tonight.
places, I'm like, I
No
think we're
closed
good.
session.
Okay, so with that, I'm seeking a motion to adjourn committee of the whole.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. John, you can go home and come back
I
for
know.
dinner.